BlackRock, the company that owns everything. If you look at the biggest stockholders of any company, BlackRock is normally up in the top 4 stockholder of any major company that exists in the US. They now own a 15% stake in Fox News. They're a Series A stock. And this obviously coincides with two things: the $787 million settlement with Dominion Voting Systems, which happened just about a week ago, and Tucker Carlson getting let go, shall we say, by Fox News. So it's a pretty interesting situation. My first thought when Tucker Carlson was let go, it was just a few days after the settlement with Dominion. So I initially thought, oh, is this part of the settlement that they reached was that they had to let Tucker Carlson go because he was their most popular show. I mean, you don't just let your most popular show go right at the peak of its existence. Literally, he was at the top of his game, bringing in the most viewers per night, more than any other news show, and they just let him go. So it was very suspicious with regard to settling with Dominion. But then we've also learned from filings that BlackRock owns part of 15% of Fox News. Some people are saying that they think that the Murdochs maybe were getting ready to sell the whole of the company because they still own the largest stake, part of it, and that they want to sort of clean it up before they sell it, bring it into the sort of, the same corporate woke kind of situation that half of the other companies in the world are in right now. So yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts on it, Mike.
I mean, how I look at it is, you have Bud Light, and Fox stood up and said, "Here, hold my beer. Let me do you one better." Like,
I saw that meme.
Like, what are you thinking? Like, in all honesty, you're gonna get rid of the most popular guy in talk television in the world. I mean, what? How does that even come about? Now, I know there's some talk of like, oh, Dominion was or BlackRock invested and owns Dominion stock. Let's just clear all that up right now. They own stock in a company called Dominion Resources. Dominion Resources is an energy-based company, has nothing to do with Dominion voting systems. Nothing.
Okay.
So there's a lot of talk of that they have this and that. They don't. But what is interesting about Dominion voting system is that some of their board members have some very interesting backgrounds. One of them is John Arnold, who is a philanthropist, right? Interestingly enough, John Arnold was a former executive Enron. So let's be clear about Enron. That was the company that had a bunch of problems in the early 2000s that was tied to the Bush family and completely had the worst background. I mean, everybody can think of Enron. They know about the problems that took place there. And so you have that whole relationship, but it has nothing to do with BlackRock. So that's the difference. But they do have that 15% stake in Fox, and then lo and behold, they only managed to get their 15% stake in the last 3 years. Prior to that, they had a minimal stake in Fox. So
they've been increasing because they owned something like 12% at the beginning of the year, and they've now increased that to 15% as of February. So they've been increasing their stake quite quickly. So it looks like, yeah.
Well, I think what you said about Murdoch looking to sell that property makes sense to me. I mean, $18 billion. It's interesting that Don Lemon, he got laid off by CNN in the same day, right?
It's called Don Lemon, not Don Lemon.
Lemon. I don't know what his name is. Either way,
I think it's Lemon.
Yeah. So it's Fox lets go of, and he's the most popular guy that was on CNN too.
Yeah, so, he did say quite a lot of false stuff, though. I seem to remember.
Right. Well, I mean, how I view it is these two media, they have no center ground. One's extreme left, one's extreme right, and the truth is like, can we just get some truthful information?
Would you say Tucker? I don't think Tucker's extreme right, though. I would call him center right, to be honest.
Yeah,
or just
maybe he's center right, but he still uses, direct, commentary. It says
he,
Democrat
true.
this,
He's
conservative
not
this.
objective. The way he
Yeah.
makes his points is kind of outlandish. He'll invite the stupidest, liberal idiot on the show to get made fun of, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you can't be centered and have that approach. It just doesn't work out. But one thing is who's going to take his place on prime time, right? I will watch Tucker here and there. So in my mind, I'm wondering who's taking his place. And I know the Epic Times. I don't know if anybody knows the Epic Times, but they have one guy I'm hoping takes his place every Monday through Friday. His name's Josh Phillip. And I think that he could do a great job. And I think that he's looking to come into that play.
He wants to apply to Fox News?
No. I think Epic is gonna put on primetime every night, Monday through Friday.
Oh, on what channel?
I think Epic TV.
Oh,
they
okay.
have Epic TV network. So
you mean not literally on Fox News, but at the same time replacing the show?
It doesn't matter the network. I just need somebody that's worth watching. Because right now there's no show on primetime that give you a good, opinionated, but at the same time resourceful, gives you your breakdown of what's going on, the news of the day, and says what's wrong with it, what's right with it. And so, yeah, Crossroads.
I would say, though, for Fox News, it looks to me like this is kind of like a nail in their coffin, because no one can really replace, like, they've done this in full view of everyone. Very obvious. Obviously the proximity to the Dominion settlement arouses major suspicions about that it was a condition of the settlement. Very, very obvious that it was, done quickly at the behest of someone. And so that I don't think they can do anything to replace him, because everyone knows, wow, this network has sold out, or thinks that. Everyone thinks that. And actually, if you watch Tucker's Twitter video, he released a Twitter video shortly after being, cut from Fox. And that got 74 million views on Twitter, which is pretty amazing, because I was listening to some analysis the other day that basically it's, fortunate that Elon Musk owns Twitter, because otherwise his Twitter could have been shut down simultaneously at the same time, right?
Right.
They could think out some excuse like hate speech or something, and he says some very interesting things in his Twitter video.
One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country, kind and decent people who really care about what's true. Civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it.
He reels off all those topics like civil liberties and all these things, demographic change, that's immigration, and also in addition to that, the pharmaceutical stuff, because he did some segments on pharmaceutical companies recently. And pharmaceutical companies basically fund the news networks. If you watch any news show, all the ads are like for drugs, right? All the ads are like, side effects may include headaches, dizziness, you could die. Because it's all old people with health problems watching the news, right? Because all the young people don't even have cable. We're watching YouTube. But yeah, so he basically says it to you, and he actually ends that segment by saying the truth is really powerful. And when you speak the truth, it's, people with an agenda cannot fight it because it's just too powerful. So they had no choice but to axe him from the show. So it kind of shows that it was not, there we go, exactly, Pfizer spending $12 billion on, advertising, basically. So
yeah, would you even know restless leg syndrome existed unless you saw my legs move when I'm laying in bed at night? Yep, that's pretty standard.
You just drank too much coffee, probably.
Right, exactly. Don't drink that Coca-Cola before you go to bed.
But they can't say that because because Coca-Cola and Starbucks are also an advertiser. I mean, it's going to be interesting to follow this and see what Fox tries to do. Right now, I think they've got a rotating thing where it's several different hosts are hosting the show.
Yeah, I watched some of it. It was pretty much a disaster.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think the ratings are just gonna go down. I mean, there's no way.
thing.
And actually, they've lost. We have the statistic here somewhere. They've lost. I think it's half their audience in half their 8 p.m. audience in just days since Tucker Carlson's gone. I mean, and it's understandable, right?
Half their audience. No one was there for. I mean, wow. One out of 2 people were there just for Tucker. This guy needs to just put out his own YouTube, and I bet you people will start watching it religiously.
I mean, if he could get on another channel or just an internet platform, I mean, he could get on. I'm sure he'd get a deal with Rumble or with.
He has his own network of information that he owns. The Daily Caller.
Yeah, he basically has a golden opportunity right now. He's got his own network. He's got his own, his own company, and he could probably partner with with the highest bidder, basically, whoever's willing to, have him. So I would say it's a pretty great opportunity for him, and probably a winning, a win.
Yeah, it is. Truth. If I was him, I'd take a couple weeks off and go have a good time with my family.
Yeah, go to Disney World in Florida.